Alan, which goalie has the bounce back tonight? Holtby allowed 5 goals on 33 shots, the most he's allowed in 30 games since mid-February. Fleury allowed 4 goals on 28. That's the most he's allowed in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Who do you think has the better performance tonight in Game 2?
I think on all the Braden Holtby goals, a couple of them, they were backdoor goals, so you can't fault him on those. I look at Fleury, though. He hasn't seen anything like he saw the other night. The amount of high-danger shots that he hasn't had that in one game this year. I think the Caps really are onto something with how they're shooting the puck and where they're getting to. All those goals, even though they could look like broken plays the other night, those were by design from the Caps coaching staff and how they wanted to get after Fleury and the confusion and chaos they wanted to create around the front of the net. So I'd expect Braden to be sharper. I'd expect, because his team has to be sharper. They blew some coverages down near the net. Just not really blue coverages, but there were just different looks that they hadn't seen. And there are some habits that the Knights do that other teams in the league don't do. So I think the Caps have to batten down the hatches near the backside of the net. And then on the other side of it, the Caps have to continue doing what they were doing the other night in the offensive zone. Just do it a little more often, but continue to create the chaos around Fleury, because he looked like he was having a hard time. And the Caps just didn't have some conversion on some great opportunities the other night, and the guys that weren't able to convert, I think they need to bear down, be tougher on their sticks, and make sure they have those chances to score, that they find a way to get them past Fleury.
Alan, obviously nothing you can do about it now, but how incensed were you at the Reeves cross-check on Carlson? He puts the biscuit behind Holtby like a second or two later. I mean, that's just a call that has to be made. Mike Milbury said as much in some of his post-game comments. What did you think about the no call there?
Well, one of the areas where you have to call penalties is everything that pertains to a scoring chance. And that would pertain to a scoring chance that he created by the cross-check in front. So it was a horrible non-call again. And the same referee, Mark Jonette, who has been in these playoffs, he just sits there and watches infractions, just blatant infractions, go all the time and doesn't blow his whistle. He's kind of cowardly in the way he refs the games. If it's a puck over the glass, but it's got to be 5 feet over the glass in the defensive zone, he'll call that penalty. If there's blood on the face of a player after a high stick, he'll call that penalty. But he won't call all the other ones that are so obvious. So that's really what bothers me about that guy. And the other fact is that Ryan Reeves got away with murder in the game the other night. He was pulling helmets off of players, punching players in the face all game long, and the refs are there watching it. He went after Kuznetsov a couple times, Burakovsky once, and I just look at that, and if they're going to let this guy run around and do what he was doing, then they better be aware of what Tom Wilson's going to do, and they already saw what Tom Wilson will do. He'll finish his hits. He's a much better player than Ryan Reeves. So I just think the refs need to do the game a lot better. There's going to be a different crew here tonight, and I would think that they'll probably do the old thing that the NHL always does. They overcall the next game in the first period, and then they let everything go the next two.
So there is a different crew tonight for Game 2.
Yeah, I think there's only 4 refs in the finals. And Dan O'Halloran, who's a really bad ref, is not in the finals for the first time in 9 years. He was a disaster in the last series the Caps were in, but it's 2 different guys tonight. But they've heard so much about the officiating in the last couple of days and what went on in the last game that you would think that these guys are under the gun. But usually what you see is them call everything at the start, some ticky-tacky garbage, and then they just let everything go in the third period, which is kind of ridiculous in my opinion.
Joined by Alan May, NBC Sports Washington hockey analyst. He is live from Vegas, waking up early to join the Junks. We do appreciate that. Quicker and sharper, those were 2 words the Caps used on Tuesday to describe how they have to play with the puck in Game 2. Is it that simple? Is that the game plan heading into tonight, to try to create some more offense and try to create some space around Holtby where guys aren't getting those wide-open looks?
Yeah, they definitely have to be quicker and sharper. And, one of the things, I was talking about the sensory overload the other night, it was probably the worst ice the team has dealt with the other night all season long. And Vegas hasn't, this is their first time in the league. They didn't know what to expect. And it's one of the things that we all were handicapping early in the season. We're thinking, man, if this team's for real and they're playing in the Western Conference Finals or the finals somehow, how good is the ice going to be there when it's so hot all the time, and it's going to get hotter here as the month goes on? And the ice was really bad. So as far as simpler, the Caps have to make sure on bad ice to get the puck out of their zone as quick as they can by any means possible. Quick ups by the defenseman, more help from actually get in better position for Holtby when he has to go behind the net to pick up the puck rather than stand in the corner, get around the board so he can get the helpers too. But everything's got to be quicker. Everything that's a pause or delay by the defenseman moving the puck plays into the forecheck and the back check of what the Knights do. So they absolutely have to move that puck quicker. And when they score tonight, either team, the Caps have to be ready for a press that the Knights do like no one else in the game. And when that first minute and a half after a goal for either team, they just got to send the airmail out of their zone, ice the puck, just get the puck out of their zone because Vegas over forechecks, and maybe take advantage of them being so overzealous on their forecheck and their attack, and get some breaks for a guy like Kuznetsov, the speed guys. If they can get those breakaways on the over forecheck, that'll be perfect.